Some people chase the mainstream. Others crave what hides in shadows. Welcome to Indie Horror Junkie, the home of filmmakers, writers, artists, and fans who live for the strange, the bold, the unapologetically independent. From blood-soaked short films and underground features to creator spotlights, reviews, and horror you won't find anywhere else. No studio filters, no safe bets, just raw imagination and fearless storytelling. If you love horror that takes risks, horror that bleeds passion, horror made by creators who refuse to play it safe, then you're already one of us. Indie Horror Junkie. Feed your fear. Support the underground. Indie Horror Junkie, where independent horror lives and refuses to die.
Welcome to the Indie Horror Junkie podcast, where nightmares meet the light, shadows entwine. Tonight we dive deep into the horror scene, with Rod and Ricky in the asylum, they me living the dream. Hear the howl of the night echo in your mind, where the rebels are fried, leaving no soul behind. Movers and shakers, we've got the scoop. Filmmakers and actors, they're part of our group. Indie horror lovers, gather all around, bringing the edge, where true tales are found. With every wound that bleeds, a story to tell. Join us, laugh, where the haunted begins.
Hello there. Running solo today. Amy's taking care of some other business, but I am here and I've got a great lineup for you. Can't wait to talk about this movie that's going to be all over the place here. But before we bring them on, let's just do some quick housekeeping just to kind of get you up to date on what's all going on here. First off, I'll do them real quick because you know me, that's how I talk is quick. So, all right, first up we have The Clock. Just to let you know, The Clock is available on Blu-ray. It's got a couple special edition features on there, but you can also get it on streaming services everywhere. So if you haven't seen that movie yet, what is wrong with you? Now you have a place you can go look and find it and go check it out. Next up, we have MegaCon. Of course, we're going to be there with the Indie Horror Junkie Film Fest again. It's our third year there. We're really excited about it. We've got a great lineup of films. We just announced all the movies that were selected as far as our competition, and we have some very special feature films that are also going to be showing there. And we're going to have a lot of people there for autographs, pictures, all kinds of good stuff. We also want to give a shout out to one of our major sponsors, Tarot Cards. It's a mobile app game that you can download on your phone. It's a free download. You get to trade trading cards for all kinds of indie horror films. They've also got a whole new program going out where I believe it's once a week, they're going to drop a brand new cover from Indie Horror Junkie. So you can trade, get them all. Once you collect the entire set, you get bonus cards. It's all kinds of good stuff. Last but not least here, we have our magazine. We have the latest issue that's currently out, which is issue 21. It's got Mother of Flies on the cover. And if you haven't heard about Mother of Flies, you need to check it out. It just won Fantasia, which is like the first North American film to ever do that. It's live on Shudder as of just a couple weeks ago. It is one of the creepiest, coolest films. And we just had the Addams Family that's behind it on the podcast last week. So definitely check that out. That's our current issue for sale right now. The next issue, boom, right there. Ted Bundy is on the cover. We have our indie horror hottie, Jasmine Keene. Definitely got a great issue lined up with all kinds of good stuff in there. This just went pre-sale on the 1st of February. It will be released on February 13th and start shipping. So if you get in there and get a pre-sale copy of it, make sure you log into indiehorrorjunkie.com, go to the merch, click on that. Once you purchase a copy of the print order during the pre-sale process, that means until release date, which is the 13th, you will be able to get a free digital copy of any back issue you would like. So there's your chance to get a free digital copy and a print copy. You're all set. Okay, now, without further ado, I think I spit that out pretty quick. Oh, there's one last thing I want to mention to you. Boom. There we go. We filmed Fear Good, which is a short film. We filmed that in basically 3 weeks from now. And then we filmed the wraparound story for the anthology, which is called Reels of the Dead, The Starlight Grand. We filmed the wraparound in June. And then we're going to have that out by the end of the year. We're really excited about it. It's our first anthology from Indie Horror Junkie. So I'll talk more about that later, but I do not want to delay our guests any further. So with that said, as we usually do, we go ahead and play a trailer. This is a trailer from their new film called New Fear's Eve. It's pretty much everywhere, but I'll let them tell you about it because I don't want to spoil all the fun, but I want to show you this really fun trailer that I love. And once the trailer is done, we'll bring them on, introduce you to them, and go from there. So enjoy. One of these days, enjoy. One of these days, enjoy. Hold on. Oh, that's what it was. I tried to click the wrong button. See what happens when I run solo? I don't get to concentrate, but here you go.
From the studio that unleashed and the creator of comes a twisted horror comedy written and directed by two dudes you'll probably have to Google.
We're both gang. Looks like we got a surplus.
As you know, I do the end of the year corporate call. Here's the long and the short of it. We're gonna need to trim some fat around.
What about tomorrow's New Year's Eve party? Cancel that.
I'm taking away people's jobs. I'm not gonna take away their party. I'm not a monster.
Yeah, seriously, he's not like a conniving, limp piece of hole.
Yeah, there was a lot of specific in that.
I'm in a kind of precarious sort of situation.
Does this situation rhyme with Brian?
Leslie's the ultimate package.
You can't cheat fate. You and Nick were never supposed to be together.
You're young enough now to avoid that.
Tomorrow I have this stupid mandatory work party.
Party!
You look scary familiar.
We work together. I give you your spreadsheets.
I'm the only one that spreads her sheets.
Hey, buddy, you're not supposed to be in here this late. I don't know who you are. You have to come back during business hours. What do you want?
We have a serial killer on our hands.
What's going on? Where is everybody?
People have been murdered.
Love that trailer. That's such a fun time. I can't wait to see that movie. How you doing, gentlemen?
Doing all right. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Yeah, I'm just trying to juggle everything here by myself, but I can handle it. I've done it before. We're all good.
We believe in you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I was really looking forward tonight because we've been talking about this for a while. This movie is getting pretty much everywhere now, isn't it? When did it come out?
Came out December 16th.
Okay.
But right. It's the momentum has been pretty strong and it's continued to keep moving. So hopefully it keeps going.
Yeah, I've been seeing the posts about Screambox, and I think you were saying that it was like #1 on there for a period of time or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Awesome. That just means more eyes, more views. So whatever we can do to help promote it and point people in that direction, we're all for it.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem. And thank you, Eric, for joining us. We really appreciate it as well. I can't wait to talk about you guys. All right. I've got a couple questions, but like I was telling you, PJ, the more you guys talk, the better, so I'm going to just kind of push some leading questions out there, whatever, and hear you guys talk about you, because when this show's over, I want everybody to know all about the both of you, and I want them to know all about New Fear's Eve and everything going on, okay? So first off, you guys have been kind of partners in crime for probably about 10 plus years now, haven't you?
Yeah. Going on 14, right, PJ?
Is it really?
In total, but Blood Moon Pictures has been a company for just over a decade. Funny enough, the day before the the movie came, or New Year's Eve came out, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how did this partnership stop? You guys like meet at a serial killer marathon or something, or what happened here?
It was
You wanna
Grinder.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you gonna do your grinder? You gonna do your grinder joke, PJ?
Yeah, I always got to get that in there.
Basically, PJ was running a thing called Unscripted at our public library, and basically a friend of mine, it had caught his eye, and we went to it they were having zombie night there that night, where the Unscripted, PJ will probably tell you more about it in a minute, but he brought people in that were indie filmmakers. You would see their short feature, and then they would show it again, turn the volume down, and the director or whoever would narrate and talk about how they did certain things in film. People would ask questions along the line. They were doing zombie night, and I've always kind of dabbled in special effects my whole life. So I did myself of a zombie, thinking, hey, I'll win some money. My friend and I were getting ready to go to Chicago Comic-Con. It's like, hey, I need some extra cash. This will work out. Of course, there was not cash prizes, but I did come in second, and I guess my zombie work caught PJ's eye, so we talked afterwards, and he got my number, and he was doing a project for a local radio station, WBKR here in Owensboro, for a thing. Was that the zombie run at first, or the first thing was the zombie run, then you did the zombie run? So he asked me to come and be a zombie through the zombie run. What was the name of that? Something Death Pack, Project Death Pack?
It was kind of it was a mockumentary that was supposed to be, it was a follow-up faux documentary about this zombie run, and it kind of told the whole backstory, because the first thing I did was just like a 30-second promo, but then this one was like a 6 or 8 minute mini documentary style sort of backstory thing that we did. But yeah, that's what I was working on when I met Eric and asked him to be a part of that. And then he came out, he did that, and then around the same time, I was also co-coordinating the film festival at Scarefest out of Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him because after we finished filming, we stood around for like an hour and just kind of chit-chatted about stuff. And I asked him if he wanted to volunteer at that, because I was looking for volunteers. He said absolutely. So then we ended up hanging out that whole weekend, went to Lexington together, and then we became really close, quick friends, and without any sex involved. And then
that trip.
Yeah, not on that one.
Right.
But it was when we went to Horror Hound. That's when all the sex went down. But yeah, so after that, Unscripted was still going at the library. It was really popular, and the success of that opened up a door for me to pitch them an idea for what became Volumes of Blood. And Eric was instrumental in helping make that happen. And then afterwards, it was kind of like, so what are we doing next? And we decided to do a sequel. But before that, Eric said, hey, would you be interested in partnering and making this legit and starting up a business? And I was down for it. So yeah, in December of 2015, we started Blood Moon Pictures, and the rest is history.
Very nice. All right. Now, the bulk of our show is probably going to be about New Fear. Oh, will you say something, Eric?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say the bulk of our show is probably going to end up being about New Fear's Eve, because that's the hot thing, and that's what everybody's really excited about.
Right.
I do want to ask you about a couple of other projects. The first one being The Boy from Below. I believe you're involved with that. You're a producer on that one, are you, BJ?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the latest on that one? Tell me how that came to be, and what's the latest on it?
Well, so Tori Jones reached out to me, and Eric and I both have known him for a while, and he asked me if I would be interested in coming on and helping produce. Of course, I said yes, and I'm a sucker for slasher movies. That's my favorite subgenre, and that's exactly what The Boy from Below is. It's kind of a soft reboot of his film The Wicked One. And so I helped with promotions, among other things. And then I got to go hang out on set the weekend that Dee Wallace was there. So I got to kind of see her in action, and she was super awesome. And of course, Jason Crow is the first AC on the project, and he was actually there, and we got to hang out. Of course, Jason is in New Fear's Eve. He plays Lance, and I kind of got to see a different side of Jason that weekend. I was very used to seeing Jason the actor, not Jason the guy running things, and it was a totally different situation, completely different guy, because he was a lot more business when he's an actor, he's just kind of hanging out and having a good time. So that was pretty cool, and I got to see how that went down. So anyway, so I'm producing that project. I know that they're almost done with it, and it's going to start screening at festivals here pretty soon. Which ones, I don't know just yet. I'm still waiting for some updates and whatnot, but that's pretty much the long and the short of The Boy from Below.
Very cool. Can't wait to hear about that one and actually get a chance to check that one out if possible. Next one up is one I always harassed you about, trying to do an article in the magazine that we keep pushing back, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Believe in it. All right. The Barn 3. Okay. Tell me a little bit about that, how that came about, because I know I'm familiar with the first two. So tell me a bit about that and let me know where we stand.
Well, it's kind of a similar situation to The Boy from Below. Justin Seaman, he runs Scream Team Releasing. Of course, he also is a filmmaker in his own right and had created the Barn franchise. Reached out to me asking if I would be interested in helping, and I was really busy at the time doing a whole bunch of other things, and I was like, well, this would be a really great opportunity to get Eric more involved, because I'm always asking him to try to get more involved, and then on this particular project, Justin is a friend. I was able to convince him to come on board, so Eric and I worked together and are both producing on The Barn Part 3. So we pretty much, we didn't help like with the script or anything, but from the ground up, before production really even began with the Indiegogo campaign, we helped with that. I edited the video, we shot a bunch of content and stuff, and I did a bunch of graphic work and things for it. And then once production actually commenced, Eric and I went to Pennsylvania for a little over a week, and we actually helped out on set. So we got to get our hands dirty, and we may or may not have a cameo in the film. And then the other thing too is Justin, during the process, he was trying to get some actors involved. So I helped get Felissa Rose attached to the movie, and then also Courtney Gaines. I helped him get in touch with Courtney to get him on the project as well. So but being on set was a really cool experience. I'll let Eric talk a little bit more about that.
Well, regards to Felissa Rose, we just had our tarot card sponsor chime in. He says here we're doing a Felissa Rose physical costume card for the Barn 3. Look at that.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool.
All right.
Cool. Yeah.
We like to keep everybody up to date all the time.
Yeah, we Jason, as usual, when we went out, Justin put us up in a 3-star hotel, our stay there for a week. And that's a big inside joke with PJ and I. I've got pictures of where we stayed in his loft on air mattresses for a week. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Justin let us come out and get our hands dirty and help with anything and just whatever he needed us for, holding lights, carrying equipment. Spent a lot of time out in the cornfield. I'll tell you, I've spent more time in a cornfield in my entire life that week. But it was a fun experience. I love hanging out with Justin, his wife, and his family, and all the people he always brings in. It was I wasn't there when Felissa was there, but we were there the weekend when Courtney was there, and it was kind of cool getting to know him. I drove him back and forth to his hotel a lot, and he's a pretty cool guy just to be around, just not, looking at him like, oh my God, this is Courtney Gaines, Right. But I mean, he's a pretty down to earth guy, very serious actor, but he's very down to earth and a cool guy. And he'll tell you how it is, though. I mean, and I mean that in a good way. In case he happens to see this, I'm not cracking on him, but I just enjoyed working with him. And it's always fun being around Zane and being around Justin. They're fun to be around. They're a lot like us. I think we're a little bit more comedic and laid back, I guess, than they are on set. A lot of people, you'd have to be on set to know PJ and I. People always call us like we're husband and wife because we release all of our tensions and stress on set on each other.
I love it.
So we bicker like a couple, and people make fun of us and laugh at us all the time. But we try to keep our sets light. But going back to Barn 3, I mean, it was really good to be out there, and we got to spend a lot of time. We were, at Justin's loft, which is basically behind his house, so we got to spend a lot of time with him and his family when we weren't on set, and that was good because I'm like what PJ said, Justin and us are friends, so it was good just getting to hang out with him and talk. Of course, we're talking about film the whole damn time, but. It was a really good experience. I'm glad I got to do it. I'm glad PJ got me involved and Justin let me come out and be involved. I had a good time. I was wore out by the end of the week sleeping on an air mattress in this damn loft. But
yeah, filming it was fun, but that loft sucked.
We had a hotel in the beginning, but before the day we got there the day before. Yeah, you're going to stay in the loft. You got air mattresses? I've got some if you don't.
So
that's not the first time we've stayed in his loft,
right? But not for a whole
definitely
week.
The longest that we've stayed in his loft.
So is the loft like a fancy term for tool shed, or was it actual?
It's basically let's say like in a house, it would be an add-on room that's full of storage for his distribution company. And a couple of very old, decrepit couches. Is there any other way for me to put it, PJ? That's pretty much it. And it's very small.
The last time we stayed in it, there was a bed.
Yeah,
and we were able to like alternate. So one night we'd sleep on a bed, and the other would sleep on the couch or the air mattress.
Right.
Well, we got there this time, and the bed was gone, and it was replaced with like stacks of boxes. So it was air mattresses for the whole week. But it's in his studio. It's a loft that's in the actual studio. Because upstairs is the loft, and then his actual office and everything where he does the distribution side with Scream Team. Mm-hmm. And then the whole bottom floor is storage for props and equipment and all that. Then there's a huge studio space where he builds sets and everything, and then there's a makeup area. And then there's a shower about the size.
Oh man!
Imagine just standing in the corner of a porta potty. That's the shower.
Yeah, and it lasts for like 5 to 7 minutes. Hot water. Yeah. That's it. But I do have to say this on a positive note. It was also really cool. One thing that I didn't bring up that I need to. It was great watching Cody Ruck and his stuff he pulled and did for the film. I was only there for a week, but I think I got to see enough. I'd love to work with him. I mean, his stuff is fantastic.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, with this show here, we try to do a lot of stuff geared towards indie filmmakers. So we're going to ask questions and try and get into some of the nuts and bolts behind it, because we do have indie filmmakers that watch and are always asking us about how did you raise funding and permits and this and that or whatever it is. So let's get into that a little bit, and let's try and make the rest of it about New Year's Eve. Okay.
All right.
Let me know first off, how did this whole concept come about? Who wrote it? How did it all come together? And give us an idea of how this whole thing first started and lead us into where we are right
now. I was driving. We were right in the middle of filming 13 Sleighs Till Christmas. And I was driving in the car, and New Year's Eve, just the title popped into my head. I thought, man, that's kind of a cool title, but there was no story or anything. And then I fleshed out a basic idea. Originally, it was supposed to be an anthology. I went to Eric, pitched him the idea, as I always do, because I'm constantly coming up with ideas and for concepts for movies and things. Of course, he was like, "Oh shit, not another one. Can we just get this movie done?" Because we were like in the fray of 13 Sleighs Till Christmas. And I said, okay, fine, fair enough. I put it on the shelf and didn't do anything with it until after 13 Sleighs Till Christmas released. Then Eric was like, hey, this is done pretty well. 13 Sleighs has. what if the next movie we do is your idea for New Year's Eve? And I was like, okay. So I pulled it off the shelf, retooled it, and then that's how we ended up deciding that would be our next production. Like
it just seemed like the natural thing to do, because our Christmas movie just came out and did really well, and he had this New Year's Eve movie, and I thought, dude, we just got to go to the next holiday and just roll with it.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm glad we did.
You sound a lot like me, PJ, with because I drive my partner Amy nuts, where we'll be in the middle of something and getting things rolling. And I say, hey, look, I came up with this great new concept. And what I usually do is I'll put together a synopsis, make a little mock poster, pitch it, get shot down, stick it in a folder, and put it on my computer. And eventually things will come down, to where we end up doing it later on. But it's like, yeah, I'm like you. My mind, even I'm on something. It's just constantly thinking up new shenanigans that we can get into and putting it there, knowing, yeah, we'll get to it eventually. No problem.
Yeah. It's almost weekly. It's like I don't really pitch him the ideas anymore, but I will I bide my time.
There you go.
But I'll write them down, and then I'll send myself an email so I can remember the idea. Because sometimes if I don't write them down, I'll end up forgetting them. And so every now and then I'll be like, shit, what was that idea that I had like last week for a movie? It was such a what I think is a great idea, but I can't even remember it.
Yeah, sometimes I'll come up with a title or something like that. And then like you did, New Year's Eve and stuff, and I'll come up with a title and just kind of develop a little story around that. What I'll do is I'll just write a synopsis together on my notepad, make a little poster, and I'll make a folder on my computer. I've got like 60 folders, I think, right now. Some of them are in various stages of just ideas or half a script and all kinds of stuff like that. So I know exactly where you're coming from. We have another comment here from Tarot Cards. New Year's Eve getting any kind of theatrical release? The quality looks high end from the trailer. Well, there you go.
Well, we do have the theatrical rights for the film. That's one thing we do have that Cineverse didn't keep. Unfortunately, we do not have the funding that would allow us to do that. It would be great. Now, if something happens and this thing was to blow up, or all of a sudden they call us up and, hey man, the numbers are great, you're killing it. It might be something, and they might even come back and go, we need to get this in the theaters. Let's work together and do it. We would do it, of course, but we would love to do that, but even on a small scale, but I just don't see it happening at this time. Right now, it's just streaming, and they basically have the physical rights. Now, it is going to be international, hopefully sometime in the next couple of months. We do have the contract. We just got to get fleshed out. Well, just approved and signed and back to Justin for international.
I gotcha. Now, there are some questions I've got. Right now, with pretty much indie films, almost, I guess, between that and theater and streaming services and all that stuff, everything's kind of in flux right now as to what's happening and how things are being released and distributed and stuff like that. Do you guys have any kind of physical media release plan? Because there are some streaming services now that we've talked to, like The Inn, that Amy is part of. It's being released with Terra Films, and Terra Films doesn't do anything with physical media. Yet my film, The Clock, which is released through Bayview Entertainment, they handle physical media and put out the Blu-ray and stuff. What's going on with yours? Is there a plan for anything like that?
Well, as far as, if you contributed to the Indiegogo, we worked out a deal with Cineverse to where everybody who put into the project through that and got a Blu-ray, that we're able to produce our own version of the film for physical release. However, they actually have the physical media rights.
Okay.
So as in terms of them putting out their own version, we don't know if that's going to happen or not. We do know that if the movie does well enough on streaming, much like some streaming platforms, they will put out a version because the demand, and they think, they can make enough money that it warrants putting out a physical release. But as it stands right now, the only actual physical copies of the movie are going to be the ones that we produce through us to send out to the Indiegogo contributors.
Yeah.
Now we hope they do a physical, because I'm a physical media collector.
Me too.
So I'm in the I'm in the process now of actually putting together all the special features for our Blu-ray. I had planned on having it done a lot sooner, but I had some medical things happen with my family, and then of course the holidays and weather and everything else. So it's like it ended up getting pushed back. And then the other problem, which is not necessarily, I don't know if I'd say it's a problem, but we shot so much content, not just behind the scenes, but like the interviews. We interviewed so many fucking people that there are plans to do a feature length making of documentary, because there's so much content. But I mean, I'm still in the process now of editing all the different sections and things that we discuss from the interviews. And right now I'm on like special feature number 16.
Wow.
But we're not going to put all of that on the one Blu-ray release. We're going to hold a lot of that back, and then we'll have all this additional extra bonus content for other things that we want to use it for, because there's 20, like if there ends up being like 20 behind the scenes special feature, I mean, that's a lot for just a Blu-ray release. So we'll probably pick the ones that are the most important, put those on that Blu-ray release, and then kind of hold everything back and see what we can do with it later. But
Cineverse does have the physical rights to the film. We were kind of told in the beginning that they, at the time, were not looking at doing physical for the film, but they wanted to keep physical rights in case something did happen. Then they could go, oh God, we're going to, put this out there. But then during, once we were signed with them, a lot of people were added to emails. Here's so-and-so that does this, here's so-and-so. And then we did have one contact us, hey, I do the physical media part. I need to get with you all and get some stuff to get that rolling. We're like, oh, y'all are going to do physical? Oh, we weren't sure, and haven't heard from the person since.
Yeah.
And that's been 2 months? No. Well, yeah. Probably 2 months.
It's been longer. It's been longer than
3.
that. But I do know that whenever, and that was the other thing, like I didn't realize how involved it was going to be with Cineverse, or how much involvement we were going to have when it came to the actual deliverables. Because there was on Eric's side, there was a bunch of paperwork and a whole bunch of things that they were asking for that he had to compile and then send to them. Right. And then on my side, which is on the technical side, I was so heavily involved with editing a brand new trailer, and I had to give him a PG, or I had to give him a G version, but I call it the PG because there's some gay jokes and stuff in it. But like and then I had to do an R-rated trailer, and then there was all this other stuff that I ended up having to compile to give to them from a media standpoint, promotional standpoint. And then in the deliverables, because they have physical release, there's or the physical rights, we also have to provide them with a certain amount of essentially what would be supplemental features for a release that if they put out a release. Gotcha. So they did specifically ask for those things.
Okay. So at least it's in the thought processes then.
Right.
Okay. We got another comment here from the Indie Escape Room. Good evening. Looking forward to seeing this flick. Joe Ridgely. So absolutely.
Awesome.
And where can exactly they see this? I know obviously it's on Screenbox, but is there any place else that it's on, or is it just strictly Screenbox right now?
Oh, yeah, Fandango at home, Plex. Of course, it's on Prime Video, Google TV,
YouTube TV.
YouTube TV. Oh, it is on YouTube TV?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know. That's new to me. And I'm forgetting one other one there, PJ. What is the one I'm forgetting? I said Fandango at home, Plex, Roku.
Roku channel.
Roku.
Yeah,
that's the Roku channel.
Very cool.
Right now, I do think there's still a special on Screenbox for new subscribers that you can get on there, and it's changed a couple of times. One, you can get on there and pay a fee for 3 months, for a certain amount, and then you could cut it off if you want to continue. And then there's a new one I think I've saw on there. It's like something for a month for beginner on Screenbox, which might be something people are interested if they haven't done it.
All right, very cool. All right, so like I said about the nuts and bolts kind of thing. Once the idea came up with, you put it all together, you convinced Eric to finally stop being lazy and do it with you. So once all that part happened, okay, how do you guys raise funding for your films?
Well, I mean, with this one, we did it two ways. One was Indiegogo before their. This was, of course, before their big shift. Which I think is a lot of us who are heavily involved with the Indiegogo stuff are looking at it going, man, if don't fix it if it ain't broke has never made more sense than right now with what they've done with the Indiegogo platform. Holy shit. But anyway, that's a whole other ball of.
Well, I want to get into that at some point, but we can do that off the air. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not great. But anyway, so we raised a bunch of money through Indiegogo through crowdfunding. And then the other thing that we did, because this was something pretty successful we managed to do with Volumes of Blood Horror Stories, we reached out locally to different businesses, and we had put together a plan for product placement and sponsorships. And then we went around to different businesses and entrepreneurs, and we pitched them the movie and what they get out of the experience of being part of the project and whatnot. And there was it's a tier system. So based off of whatever package they get to sponsor the film, it kind of lays out everything that they get in return. So we ended up getting 3 or 4 different businesses: music studios, Asylum Tattoo and Art Gallery, Feta, Pizza.
What's that's one? Golly, I can't think of who.
I'm brain farting. There's another one. But and the other thing though is that also doesn't count the in-kind donations.
Mm-hmm.
I called in a lot of favors to help get certain aspects of this production made. And I think too, that's another great thing about shooting film in the Midwest. Cause I'll talk to friends that I have out, on the West Coast, and they'll be like, man, how did you get X, Y, and how did you afford X, Y, and Z?
Right.
And I have to tell them, like, where we're at, we don't pay for those things. You know, we're not paying to shoot in a house. We're not paying to shoot on a street corner. Now that may change because there is an influx, more productions and things that are coming to this area. So I think if it becomes the norm, ultimately for us, that could change where we do have to start getting filming permits and paying money for certain aspects. But as it stands right now, there's a lot of stuff in the film that it was more reaching out and working with them, like the Owensboro Police Department, for instance. Those big aftermath scenes, if you've seen the movie, I mean, we got ambulances, fire trucks, police cruisers, and it didn't cost us a dime. It was one of those situations where it was, it's kind of all who you know and how you can work out, favors and what kind of connections you have and stuff. So a lot of that helped out. But I think a lot of it too is just, while there isn't a lot of this happening in the area, at least not to the level that Eric and I are doing it, it's exciting for a lot of these people to be a part of the production. So they want to help, they want to be a part of it, and they want to support it. And that was really great, especially for our project, because it added so much production value to the movie. And there's no way we would have been able to get the movie, accomplish the film that we did if it wasn't for the sponsors locally, and then also the different businesses and organizations and things that helped come on board and support the project. And then ultimately the Indiegogo contributors. I mean, they're the major factor in what helped get the film funded.
Yeah, that seems to be the biggest thing for a lot of indie filmmakers. I mean, I know of a few people like the Mahal brothers and Chase Dudley and stuff like that. It seems like every time they do a movie, they put this Indiegogo together, and then within 2 or 3 days, they've got 5 times their goal already set up. So it's like a machine. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that those crowdfunders, several people have told me they're basically a full-time job. You've got to be on that every day, all the time, or else you're not going to have success. So,
yeah.
Well, luckily,
I'll use this as an example to kind of put things into perspective. There was a 2-week period where I individually reached out to about, I'd say between 300 and 500 people and started conversations with them, not just pitching them the Indiegogo, but actually having conversations with these people. It could have been people I never talked to before in my entire life, just getting to know who they were, or it was people I hadn't talked to in a while. But at some point during the conversation, naturally, it would be like, what have you been up to? What are you working on? And I would say, well, we've got this project happening. And then I would give them the option as to whether or not they wanted to check out the campaign. And I sent them the link. And I mean, not everybody wanted to look at the link.
Right.
But we ended up getting about $5,000 just from going out there and like starting those. Now, $5,000 was just a small percentage of the overall budget. But you're not wrong. It was a lot of work and a lot of time talking to a lot of different people and ultimately pitching to them what we're doing, but not doing it in like a car salesman kind of a way, but actually saying, these are real people. Right. Do they want to support? You know, and plus it gave me an opportunity to talk to people I haven't talked to in a while. So that was the other cool aspect. But yeah, I mean, it really is. It's like nonstop promotions, nonstop talking to people. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan.
Yeah. I can understand that. I've heard that from several people. That's why a lot of people tend not to go that route, because they know that once you start that thing up, unless it's going to fall in your face, you've got to just bang and bang and bang it.
Yeah.
It's just, some people just aren't like that. They don't like to, do that. So it's a very difficult situation. But for some people, like I said, those few people that I know of that do it, they do it pretty regularly. So I think that once you do it pretty regularly, you get this group of people that know what you're going to do. But at the end of the day, you need to complete your project and get it out there. You're not going to have those people anymore. So I commend them on doing that. They bang these things out. They make quality movies. They put them out there, and people see that. And that helps them, I think, with the next one, because people can see that I'm not just throwing my money away. I'm putting it to a group that's going to finish their project and going to do what they say, which goes a long way. So I commend them for that. But it takes a while to get that process going, like you said, and that's difficult. So
yeah.
Now, do you guys have set people that you use for like editors and DPs and this, or do you pretty much, depending on the project, you look for different things and you've got some resources or something, or do you have a regular group that you use for every aspect?
We have a lot of people, actors, crew that we have used for almost every film. Usually we've lucked out, and a lot of the people we used on the acting side, there was a part where we're like, hey, I believe Jason or Jay or Alyssa would fit this role, and we've used them before. We know their capabilities and their ranges. Got to give a big shout out to Alex Clark. He's been our DP, and he's phenomenal. You would think the man couldn't take a picture of a baseball bat the way he talks about his abilities, but the guy is phenomenal. I mean, PJ, you know what I'm talking about. He doesn't think but he does it for a living, but he's just one of those kind of guys. But man, he's just, I mean, in every film we want to get bigger and better and really prove that we've changed and have moved on and gotten to that next level. And he's helped us do that. I mean, like the guy a while ago with the tarot cards said it looks phenomenal, and that's Alex, hands down Alex. Now, we did have the film colorized, PJ did edit it and all that, but I mean, he filmed the entire thing. He's just amazing. Now, Stephen Dean is his backup film guy, say that entire thing. Stephen Dean did step in a few times and have to take over the camera, but in general, it's all been Alex. But them two work together so well. It's amazing having them. And we've had to go through some changes with, productions assistants. So we had a new script supervisor this time. The sound person basically was our equipment. It was just whoever was available that knew what they were doing. So we got lucky there. But we've used so many people. Jason Crow, for instance, Alyssa Rhodes, Jay Woolston, Ronnie Jonah, Delormier. What's her first name? Sonia Delormier. There's just so many people like them that we've used in several films because they're from the region. They're fantastic to work with. And when we see a part, we're like, she could do that. He could do that. We call them up like, well, let me read the script. 9 times out of 10, like I'm in. Like Rhonda Jonah, she said, "Let me read the script." She read it. She goes, "I'll do it." So we've been lucky in that aspect with this. But we had the 3 main actors and the guy that played the doctor. Didn't know who they were. Never worked with them before. And look how lucky we got with those 4. Colin that played Nick, the dickhead boyfriend, never worked with him either. And he came in and just, it's just been amazing. The crew that we had come in, Ryan McCain, Tim Camp. I mean, we had a bunch of other productions assistants that came in and did well for us. But if it hadn't been for Ryan and Tim, oh, good Lord. I mean, we would be finalizing stuff with film at the end of the night, and we go into the area where all the craft services and all the stuff, and Tim would already have everything packed up, cleaned up, ready to go. I'm like, holy shit. So, and then Ryan, man, if it needed to be done, it was like, hey, Ryan, oh, it's right here. I mean, he was already one step ahead of us. So we've always been, I say lucky, but I mean, we've been doing this long enough. We know who to pick and who not to. It's just, we know each other, we talk, and it's like, hey, this person would be great. And we have gotten lucky, though.
Very cool. Yeah, we find that the same thing with our films. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to try and find new people. You don't want to look like you're using the same people, especially on camera and stuff like that. But as filmmakers, it's got to be tough because when you work with certain people, you know what they bring to the table. You know that they're going to be somebody that you can depend on, and that they're going to be able to do all these things. So you get in that comfort level with them, especially behind the camera. So we try to keep a lot of the same people and stuff often because we know how to work with them. We know what they're going to bring to the table. They know us. So it just makes it, especially when you've got to move on set, as all indie film have to do, it's nice to know that you've got people in place that are used to that process and know that process, and you can depend on them. So absolutely. Yeah. Now, with your casting, I know you said you try to use some of the people that you've used before, whatever, but are you a proponent? Because myself and my partner definitely differ a little bit on this. Whereas you like to try and cast people kind of like off the radar, people that you know or have heard of, or people that you've worked with before, or are you proponents of like using casting calls and going to casting services and putting the word out there? How do you like to do that? Or is it a mixture of both?
Well, for us, it's both. We always do both. We have the actors that we've worked with multiple times, and we know they're strong and that they'll give a really good performance. And I would be lying if I said that when I wrote the script, I didn't already have certain actors in mind.
I do that
Alyssa, Jason, Jay, Woolston. Like, I had specific roles for them. Like, they were the actors who I thought of for these certain roles. I mean, Kevin Roach was another one, but we ended up having to cast a different actor in the role. That was going to be Agent West, but Kevin Roach, who we've worked with multiple times before, but he had scheduling conflicts and there was no way for him to be able to do it. But the other thing we do is even though I have certain ideas as to who the actors should be for these roles that I write, we always hold open auditions and we take video submissions. And I'll tell Eric, during the process, like I would like, Sonya was another one because we worked with Sonya on 13 Slaves Till Christmas, and she did a phenomenal job. So immediately after that movie, I was like, both of us were like, whatever we do next needs to have Sonya in it because she's great. So she was another one that I had specifically in mind for a certain role. But still, you never know who you're going to find because we've always lucked into finding really strong talent in the last place we thought we would ever look. So yeah, we held 3 days of open auditions, and that's where Turner, Matthew, and Lily came from, and then Jesse. Those were our 3 main leads, and then of course Jesse came in. He actually started out reading for one of the FBI agents, and then the one thing that Eric and I always do as we're running through the audition with the person, Eric and I are always thinking like, I wonder if this person would actually be better in this role. Mm-hmm. So if they give a strong reading which are typically just, cold auditions for the people who show up. Of course, the video auditions, people get their sides in advance. But like when Lily, Matthew, Turner, and Jesse all showed up, like they had to sit in the lobby and they're looking at these scripts for the first time. And they all came in and they were fantastic. And it was just a matter of, figuring out who Turner was best for, who Matthew was best for. But like Lily, when she left, Eric and I were like, she's Leslie. She's Leslie. And then by the end of the 3 days, we were like, she's Leslie. She's so far, she's like the absolute best. And then you still kind of hold it open because you think, what if someone with a video submission sends something in? But there wasn't anybody that rivaled what Lily did. And honestly, it's the same with Matthew and Turner. And what's funny is like Jesse was never, we didn't know who the doctor would be. Like we didn't have anybody specifically in mind. We threw some names out, but as far as like the doctor was concerned, we didn't have anybody in particular. And we really liked Jesse for one of the lead roles, but the problem is there is a bit of an age gap. Mm-hmm. It was for Brian, but it was like there's an obvious age difference between him and Lily. And because Lily could play someone in her early 20s, or she could play a 16-year-old because she's still young. And it wouldn't go over very well because there's these like mild romantic undertones happening between the Brian and Leslie character. So we didn't want anybody to have those like cradle robbing vibes as they're as they're watching the movie. We want Jeffrey Epstein to be like far out of people's minds when they're watching the movie. So I called Eric one day and I was like, Jesse is tall and he's got a good build. What if Jesse could be the doctor? And Eric liked that idea. So we called Jesse and we were like, look, how would you like to kill everybody and be the murderer in the movie? And he was like, hell yeah. So he got super excited. And that's ultimately how he became the doctor. However, because he was so good in the audition
and so likable.
Exactly. And it was like, I felt bad that he wouldn't get any real face time.
Right.
So I wrote the character of Ned for him because he plays Ned and the doctor. So it was like, I wanted him to be able to be in front of the camera and actually act. He's still acting when he's in the suit.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of nuance and things that he brought to the character, the fixing the coat and some of the ways that he tilts his head, which, Michael Myers has done that a million times, but it's like a lot of those little nuance and character traits and things that the doctor was doing throughout the movie, like that was all Jesse. Jesse brought that to the character.
Nice.
There may be a few things here and there that I would throw at him or that Eric would throw at him, but ultimately it was all Jesse. So that's how Jesse ended up being Ned in the movie. So, but like Eric was saying, like we got very lucky with the people who came in to do cold reads through the audition process, but we've done this long enough that we were able to pick the right people for the right roles. And of course, despite what some of the critics have really enjoyed the movie, but then, there's hit and miss with some people who have seen the film, like on Letterboxd. And, but despite what some of those people think, all three of the leads gave really great performances. And they carried the movie.
Colin Horn, the dickhead guy, Nick, that played Nick, and then Noelle Shelton and Evander Hodges that played the mother and daughter at the garage. Our new screen queen, I would say Noelle Shelton. They were all newcomers. We didn't know them either when we work. And Noelle, actually, PJ and I were doing a location scout. And the lady, it was Music Studios, and she was going to let us look at some buildings around hers that she had some involvement with, see if we could film there. And we got there, and she got busy or forgot or had something else to do. So she asked this girl if she'd show us around. Well, this girl, just young girl, 17, 18, 19 years old, she just was like, yeah, what do y'all want to do? What do y'all want to look at? Just full of personality, just this cute look to her. And I just finally looked at her and I was like, I said, you mind if I ask you a personal question? I asked her age. She told me, I was like, have you ever done any acting? I looked at PJ, said, you know where I'm going with this? And like when we needed somebody her age, and she just had this great personality and the way she talked to PJ and I, and she had, of course, she's a dancer, dance instructor, and she was 18 years old, and we needed somebody around her age, and she had a nice look to her, a good look to her, and we sent her an audition on through email that night, and we got it, what, 2 days later, PJ, I think?
Something like that.
And that's how we got the girl that screamed at the garage.
Yeah.
Just going to a location.
Although, when Eric looked at me and goes, you know where I'm going with this, right, PJ? I looked at him and I was like,
here we go.
I was like, look, I don't know where you're going with this, you fucking creep. I said, look, I don't know this guy. We just met on the bus.
He met me on Grindr, but I'm the fucking creep. Okay.
That's right. Hey, we're two consenting male adults who met on Grindr. Has nothing to do with 18-year-olds.
But I mean, there's five, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 actors we've never worked with or even heard of before. And they all came in, and it was like PJ wrote every part for each one of them. Like he sat and talked to them and then wrote. I mean, they all came in and just did exactly what they needed to do for that role. It's just amazing what's happened with this film, in my opinion.
And you talk about your critics and stuff like that. Is it one of the, like this guy right here, Peter Anthony?
He's one of the worst.
Oh yeah, I've heard that from other people too. So.
I had to go bust out both of his kneecaps after he talked some shit about the movie.
Wow.
I'm joking. He could take me in a New York minute.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to say this when I'm like 1,000 miles away from him.
But he is the nicest guy that I've ever chatted with. He's such a nice guy. But I do have some pictures for you real quick here I want to bring up before we get too carried away. Yeah, I guess Peter's still listening.
I want to see that day he knocks his kneecaps out. I want to be there.
Hey, the day that he shows up here, I'll be in Hawaii or somewhere else.
I hear you, brother. All right, for these pictures here, of course, I've got these 2 questionable characters, right? You're deep in thought there, Eric. I mean, what are you thinking about? Just like a lunch break or something else?
I think I'm looking at the monitor of what's either being shot or getting ready to be shot, if I remember correctly.
Well,
go ahead, Peter.
We're in the bathroom. This was during Felissa's death scene.
Ah.
Yeah, I think this might be, we were trying to figure out how this in such a tight spot. You remember when we were trying to figure out how we were going to get all this done, that tight spot? And I think that's what we were looking at. And then I think you kind of stepped in and go, well, let's do it this way. And then that's how we ended up doing it. But I think that's what I was doing. I was looking at it like, how's this going to work? Are we going to do this? Or is this going to stink? Or is PJ going to pull another one off?
Well, we were in a bathroom, so.
Yeah, that's right. Me and him in a bathroom looking puzzled.
You and that guy right there, huh?
Oh, God.
I love that shirt there, Peter. I do love that shirt there, PJ.
I hate his pretentious poses.
I was going to say, that's me trying to be as pretentious as I possibly can.
Oh, God, it's sickening. I throw up my mouth. I throw up in my mouth all the time when pictures of him pop up like that.
I'm like, try not to make comments about dicks and farts.
Yeah. I got 3 more little pictures here. What do we got here? What's going on here?
Oh, great scene.
Yep.
Who's that and what's it?
Jason Crow is the one holding the bat, and that's Hannah Fearman from VHS Creep Show. And then of course that's Emily McNulty. We didn't mention her. She's another one we've used more than once.
Yep.
She's super sweet. We love Emily. And then that's the back of Turner there. And this is a mishap that happened. They've turned a corner and run into each other, and that bat inadvertently does some injury to somebody.
Oh, nice.
That's why everybody's like, oh my God, because the bat, you know how people run around a corner and run into somebody, and he just happened to have a bat, and it kind of swung out with it and hit her in the face.
Swing first, ask questions later.
That's right.
Spoiler alert.
Yep. And we got this right here.
Speak of the devil. That's
Noel Shelton. Noel.
That's Noel Shelton. That's what I thought. Our Scream Queen. That was the scene. Her and Evander Hodges out of Lexington. Actually, she's regional. Of course, Noel's from here. They came in and played mother-daughter, and they worked really good together. And that's she had a really good scream too.
Now, this is the one that you said didn't have any acting experience that you just picked up. Or no?
She basically was an extra in a film that had been made around the area, and she's a dancer, and now she's at the place I think she did dancing at as an instructor now. So
Okay.
she teaches dance. So she's not an actor, but her personality when she was talking to PJ and I, you know, she's 18. She could have just like, yeah, what do you all want? You know, the building's over there, but she was just like, yeah, whatever you wanted, I'll show you. She just had a really great disposition about her, and she was a cute young lady, and I just threw it out there, and next thing you know, she's screaming in her film.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because if you just look at her facial expression and the eyes and everything else, she actually looks terrified there. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah. Well, to accomplish this, Eric had to ask her on a date.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought maybe Eric was flashing her or something.
She opened the door and I was changing shirts. That's
there we go.
We had Eric standing there in a thong.
Or is this the one where Eric's standing there in a thong? I'm not sure.
This is where Eric was asking Dave on a date.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, this is Dave Sheridan, who is played Doofy in Scary Movie. He's also been in Sex Drive and a whole bunch of other great movies. And he was pretty cool. He was very funny on set. And he's awesome as Mr. Dugan in the movie.
Yeah.
This particular shot here is right before something really bad may or may not be happening to him.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Like that. You leave that option open. Okay, sounds good. All right, well, we've come to the end of our show here, but before we check out, let us know basically, I guess, what's coming up next. What's next for you guys? Now that New Fear's Eve's out there, it is pretty much everywhere streaming. What do you guys got on the burners for next?
I mean, honestly, right now, I would say most importantly, we have a sequel that we would love to do for New Fear's Eve. In order for that to happen, though, please go check out the first movie.
Yeah.
Because so far the movie has been doing well. At least it seems that way. We won't know the numbers for a while.
Right.
But we're hoping that if it does well enough that, we can get Cineverse on board, or at least be able to leverage that popularity to get somebody onto the project who can really help us, because the budget for the sequel is going to be much more substantial than what it was in order for us to be able to accomplish what we need to accomplish. And it's funny how many reviews, especially the positive ones, all point out the fact that there needs to be a sequel to this movie, which is very cool. And I appreciate all the kind words and the sharing and the support and everything we both do. But yeah, that's really kind of where things are. We've been so busy with this movie ever since we signed the distribution deal that we haven't had much time to work on anything else.
And we can't move forward with the second one without a substantial budget increase. Like he said, we know what we accomplished with the first one and where we were at financially. But if we're going to go to that next level, like we try to do with every film, I mean, just budgeting alone and what we've kind of just piecemeal together and looked at, the budget's already 3 times what this one was. And there's no way we can't do that. There's no way we're going to be able to do it without doing that to make it to that next level. Right. So it's, watch the film, go out there, do reviews, tell your friends, tell your family. That's the only way it's going to happen. It'd be nice if someone like Cineverse, wink, wink, was to jump on and, if it does well, with them for us to want to back us or help us with the second one, or anybody else. But it's going to take people watching the film and, previewing it and putting out their ideas and critiques of what they thought about it. That's the only way it's going to happen. And like PJ said in the beginning, I mean, we said on the top 10 and at number 1 while on Screenbox for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, that's fantastic. That's awesome. To other people in the world, it's like, been there, done that. I don't know. To me, I think it's great and it's good, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, being number one for any period of time is great. I'll just tell you
Yeah,
that.
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah.
Both of you. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on here. We could have easily pushed this to a 2-hour show. We've already gone 5 minutes over, but I couldn't stop because I love hearing you guys chat. So, this is the next best thing, from here to Grinder or whatever it is. Yeah, it's all good. All right. But once again, I want to thank you guys for coming on board. I'm going to go ahead and kick you backstage right now.
All right. Thank you so much.
Show, and I got a couple more questions and give you a proper goodbye. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
right.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys. Oh, real quick.
Thank you.
Where can everybody find you? What's the best way to find you?
Facebook. PJ and I are
Facebook?
both on Facebook. Our company, Blood Moon Pictures, has its own Facebook page.
Perfect.
You can go to bloodmoonpictures.com. That has all our posters to all our films. You just click on the poster. It gives you all the links, the critics, awards, all the stuff that goes with our films. Go to Blood Moon Pictures 15 on Instagram, and you'll find Blood Moon Pictures, and New Fear's Eve movie is on there as let's go Blood Moon Picks 15, and then New Fear's Eve movie are the two that get to there.
Perfect. All right. I'll chat with you guys in just a moment.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys. Once again, thank you for a great show. I mean, I could have chatted with those guys for the next hour or so, and hopefully we'll get them back again here soon. But like they said, New Fear's Eve. Check it out on Screenbox. It's out on Prime, pretty much everywhere. Just go to Google, search for it or whatever, but definitely check it out. You saw the trailer. Trailer looks hilarious as shit. I mean, it looks really, really good. I'm going to watch it myself in the next couple of days, but definitely check it out. Support them, because we all want to see New Fear's Eve 2 starring Rick Danford here. Oh, well, no, just New Fear's Eve 2, period. Okay? We'll get the other stuff later on, all right? But in the meantime, we'll see you guys next Wednesday.